Good. Yeah. I'll eat it later.
Hey everyone, come front and grab a seat. We'll be starting. Please come in front. So, okay. So, thank you so much, Leon, for coming to our very prestigious school because we have Sam. Yeah, and he's the CEO of MochiThings. He's also a previous student of Sam. Did I say 10 years ago?
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and pass the mic for Leon.
Thanks for coming today. I'm not normal. You'll see why. All right. So, I'm Leon. Thanks for inviting me. So Dr. Chung was actually my mentor probably 10, 11, 12 years ago. All right. So I started doing tech way back in 2005. That's when I was 16. And I got early entry into college, wrapped up my CS degree in 19, and I freaking just joined the startup. So one of my startups was actually introduced by Dr. Chung, and after 1 year, I got really good at adtech. Unfortunately, we're not going to be talking about adtech today. We're going to be talking about pretty much just general strategy, what you got to do in the industry. We're not going to talk too much about tech because I want to come back for that, right? Mm-hmm. So today is just about kind of laying out the whole year of top conversations, and I'm just going to talk about how to make money. No, I'm not going to talk about that. So basically, I'm really good at making money or profit generation. If you give me an idea, I can make something going immediately. So that's what I do. Right now, I got a holding company that basically holds all my ideas, and each idea becomes a company somewhere. Right? So one of my biggest cash cows is a finance term. It's just insane profit generator. It's MochiThings. I'm not sure if you guys looked at it, but it's a total joke if you look at it. Okay, nobody would guess how much revenue that we make on this thing. Right? It's just insane. I'll talk about that in a minute. For MochiGroup, that's kind of like how do you move basically 500 kilograms of 500 tons of products in a day. How do you put all those inventory on a plane and move it to the US? How do you move it through ocean freight, from Busan? So we do a lot of these things. MochiTech is kind of what we use to kind of sell our algorithms. We write some kind of model in ML. We wrap it on APIs. We sell it. So other companies get to use this, and we're going to start making some pretty big money on that. And then lastly, is what I'm actually doing right now is MochiCapital. It's basically a quant fund. A quant fund is like, it's basically you're trying to build a selection of stocks that you want to hold, and then you sell it. So you earn that split depending on how you can measure the stock performance. So that's kind of what I do right now. It's a pretty big ML problem that I'm trying to solve. And I'm not sure if anybody here knows, so we're going to be talking about that in a minute too. All right, so feel free to stop me when I ask some questions. I'm not used to academic kind of talks because, yeah, so I'm just going to keep going. So, so I just kind of cut out. Oops. So basically, sorry, I'm not Windows user.
Oh,
yeah, maybe a screen share. Or we can do it, okay.
yeah.
There you go. Cool.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Cool. Thank you. All right. So even though I make a lot of money, I actually do. My pursuit is not in profits. My pursuit is actually in knowledge. It's really important because if you try to optimize on profits, you're gonna lose yourself. It's really easy to lose yourself to money. Once you have it, you know what I mean. So how I keep myself grounded is with knowledge. So I never stop learning. I'm just a guy who just keep studying. That's who I am. So when Donald Chen asked me about my life, I don't think so. Even though I'm married and everything, at the end of the day, I'm just reading books. So pretty much the same guy. Basically, my core focus area is on finance, economics, and software architecture engineering.
Wow, now you are talking about software engineering.
Yeah. So
10 years ago, you didn't like it.
I still don't. So software engineering is really boring to me, but I need it. Right? So I'll talk about it later too. But I'm starting really hard on data science and machine learning. Basically, what I noticed is that whatever that we do in the industry, it's all algorithms, man. It's just resolving computer science issues. It's way more than software engineering. Software engineering is just a little piece of the problem to deploy something, but it's all about algorithms and data structures, and we'll talk more about that. And I'm trying to learn IoT. Basically, IoT is kind of like the integration of hardware with software, and there's a lot of things that we can do in IoT. And I don't think we'll be talking about it today. It's another whole topic. All right, so I kind of wrote the abstract kind of aggressively to kind of like piss off some people here. There's probably a lot of JS developers that I don't know why I choose JS, okay? But anyway, any JS developers, I'm curious.
JS developer?
Yeah. Yeah? Oh, sorry.
I also use other Java.
Yeah, basically it doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter what you use. I was hoping that I get to talk trash about JS more, but I guess I can't. But from a software perspective, it really doesn't matter how you solve a problem, okay? You just need to solve the domain problem. I guess in your curriculum, I actually don't know what curriculum is. I guess what you guys are doing, kind of like playing around with technology, but don't really have a problem.
Use case?
Yeah, do you have a use case?
Probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah, not yet, right? So in industry, you probably don't know what you're doing either, and that's okay. Right? So all you gotta do is solve the freaking problem. If you get a piece of spec, you should be happy, okay? In the industry, you rarely get a spec, particularly in my companies, because we keep changing so much. You're not gonna get any specs, so you gotta be good at what you're doing. But basically, man, in software, all you gotta do is just expose the IO. You get a method, get your inputs defined, get your outputs, and that's just call it a day, all right? You don't need to be all fancy and everything. At the end of the day, all you're doing is just chaining IO. I mean, you can be all fancy with all the tech, but all you're really doing is just passing inputs and outputs, and then refining the outputs. That's all you're doing, all right? So try not to get too much ego building because it's kind of dangerous. I've seen a lot of software developers just die, all right? So anyway, what you're doing is building software at highest efficiency and do it at the lowest cost. All the fancy tools you guys are using right now, like serverless, the jargon, the ego, whatever, you know, it really just slows things down if you don't know what you're doing. You want to be damn good at just delivering product. It doesn't matter if you write crappy code or anything like that, right? Just push out and just keep going. It just basically makes more things more expensive. Like if you learn serverless today, man, none of the industry really knows what the hell you're talking about. All right, so yeah, it's good to be cool, but you gotta be able to adjust yourself to a team who doesn't use these technologies, and it takes a lot of effort to actually use these. It's expensive to retrain, so it's good to be academic. Okay, enjoy your time here, because when you get out, man, it's a whole different thing. So if software doesn't matter, then what really matters? You know, it's just really time and money. I mean, you hear it all the time, like in the media and things like that, but that's what really matters. You can write some BS C++ code and still make a lot of money. By the way, you can make a lot of money writing C++. We're doing FPGA stuff, and one of the things that in quant funds you need to reduce the latency, right? So we do need to use C. If you need the latency reduced, then those are the things we're going to be doing. But I'm not going to talk about today. So basically, this is strategy. I'm not sure if you guys had experience listening to this stuff, but it's basically how we do things. You can buy time with money by throwing money at a problem. When you can spend money, spend it, man. Because you don't want to be using your time. I mean, you gotta think about how did I, at age 30, have a net worth of like all of you combined plus more, right? So it's all about saving your time. You don't live that long, right? So we're trying to save as much time as possible. If you can buy time, you buy it. So, it's cool to, let's say you want to write your own search. Yeah, it's cool to write your own search, but why would you? I mean, is anybody interested in writing search? I don't think anybody is. Yeah, so you buy it. So today we have like Algolia search, Elasticsearch, and AWS Cloud Search. You buy your own, right? So don't write your own search. It's just kind of dumb. If you're going to choose a search engine, choose Elasticsearch, okay? Because ML is on it. Just get ready for it, okay? They're going IPO. If I want to look at it. AWS Cloud Search, don't go into it. Just learn it, but don't use it. The indexing is too slow, all right? So don't use it. Just kidding. You guys should learn basic animation right now. So you can decrease time needed to deployment to save money. What I mean by that is you got to decrease your time to deployment. Like if you're writing code right now, you probably want to deploy immediately to kind of get into real world. Like let's say you change up your method, just get it out there, all right? Most companies don't work like that, but we do, where we deploy immediately. Our whole pipeline is kind of set in a way where you push a commit to master. We're already building that, and we're going to deploy immediately. So that's kind of how a pipeline works. Best practices do help here. I'm not sure you guys took architecture.
Yep.
No, right? Did you guys?
A bit.
I think everybody had to have architecture. But those things do matter. Like we talk about things like object-oriented programming, all things about chain responsibility, all the facade patterns. Basically, man, it's been 10 years, but we talk about all this stuff, software finance, everything. Those are useful, okay? But then I got talk trash about this presentation itself. Just by me coming in here, I just spent like 2 to 3 hours actually building this thing. And it takes me 1 hour to deliver, right? So in the industry, I see a lot of time wasting in like presenting what they're doing. But it's important to share these things. But I just have a gripe on it because I don't have time to just sit into one of these and listen to everybody talk. So that's kind of what I'm just saying. But you understand my stuff later. Anyway, if you can do these things, always try to avoid the latest and greatest trends. I mean, it's hard as an academia, but in the industry, try not to introduce too much uncertainty in the pipeline, kind of like serverless, because everybody got to change the whole stack. Is dangerous, right? So if you're coming from Rails stack and then somehow you introduce a serverless piece, everybody got to relearn, everybody readjust all your adjustments. So those are the kind of things. There's just way too many risks where, we're going to talk about React later, but there's too many risks that you just don't know about if you're not experienced. And then we're all wasting time trying to solve this freaking problem when it's not actually a core problem, right? So a lot of JS stuff is kind of like this. And we'll do so much time wasting when we enter the JS world and kind of regret it, right? So we're talking about it. Basically, sorry, I kind of threw this together really quickly. So right here, you should probably want to use a proven framework. No, Express.js is not a framework. Right? It's just a freaking server that does request and response really quickly. But use a framework, an actual one, like Spring.js, if you guys use that, whatever Spring. or like Rails. It's pretty good. You gotta reuse everything you can. Usually when you like deploy something, you're never gonna touch it, right? You just deploy and forget it, right? And you never go back to it. So just use the proven framework. It works. It works. If you really need to use serverless, like what you guys are learning right now, I guess, you gotta make sure you know what you're doing, man. What I mean by that is you actually create your own framework, right? Serverless is a thing where you can deploy. It's just a scaffold where you can deploy Lambda functions really easily, but it has nothing to do with framework. It doesn't do anything to like tell all your team that, hey, this is where things needs to be. There's no like folder, there's no entry point that you define. You just put it anywhere you want. And then you just hope that people look at your Webpack and like, okay, find out where the entry points are, man. Man, that's a pain in the ass. So we actually had that problem. We have actually 30 serverless projects running right now in production. And it's painful to go through that and update everything. We change the pipeline, things like that. But anyway, there's a strategy of architecture that we got to deal with. Tooling is really annoying. You try to upgrade your Node version, oh my God. So recently AWS released 8.10. Node 8.10, there's a lot of benefits with it. We had to upgrade every application to go 8.10. And we had to upgrade all of our tooling, all the libraries with it, each and every 30 individual projects. It's just not fun, right? And then you gotta make sure you enforce the rules. So if you set something as an entry point, you better tell everybody. You see, the problem with the software engineers is that they don't talk, man. So you gotta make sure you enforce the rules. Otherwise, people just really do whatever they want. You change up an entry point, then it's like, hey dude, where is that? And then please don't add plugins if you can. I'm not sure you guys look at serverless, but there's a lot of fancy plugins. Try not to use those if you can. I mean, you should use serverless Webpack, but if you use it, try to understand what it's actually doing. So a lot of people like type in serverless package and they don't even know how things packaging, those kind of things. So if you introduce a lot of plugins, people don't know what you're doing. So that can make things kind of weird. Are you guys really good at serverless? Like, do you guys do that all quarter long?
No, we want to learn this one.
Oh, okay.
So how about your company? Your company started with Ruby on Rails.
Yeah, we did.
Still, you are using Ruby on Rails, right?
Yeah, we are.
Also, you are using serverless computing or just practicing or exercising it. How you are comfortable with serverless computing?
Yeah, so we actually had to use Lambda functions for ML. Yeah, I didn't want to go here, but because we also split from React, we also needed React to talk to something. So we kind of offloaded our capacity a bit. Because if you use Rails and you try to shove in a billion requests in a second, it's really hard on an application on Rails. So we had to offload everything on Lambda, trying to go over that. Yeah, so that's what we're doing. I can draw it out. I can actually make that later.
So because of the scalability, now you are using serverless computing.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that Rails can't solve it. Yeah, so I want to go back to Rails actually. It's just really painful. For the scalability reasons, it's not worth it. I'd rather have developer time. Yeah, so it's like a trade-off basically in the industry. Sometimes you probably want to save your developers time than this. I'd rather pay for more servers actually. That's what that is. So basically, well, about profit generation, right? So if you can buy time and decrease time needed for deployment, then you basically create a process to consistently and efficiently throw more money at a problem. Like I said, if you can throw money at a problem, you throw money at a problem. That's how we solve problems, right? Using money. You don't bring your money to the coffin, right? You gotta use it to like grow. So this will lead to faster discovery of a profitable path. And then you optimize architecture. You don't do optimizations first. You freaking find a profit route, then you optimize. So far too often, I see people just optimize architecture because it's cool. I mean, you're gonna be like bankrupt at the end of the day. So everything's in reverse right now. So I'm trying to fix that. So hopefully I fix somebody in here. So what really matters, right? So to me, I hope for you as well, is really profit generation. We want to have the fastest way to get it, the most sustainable way to get it, and that means repeating the process. Right? You don't just make a big chunk of money and just like toss it away, right? And then the most ethical way to get it. I can't cover the ethics today, but it's really important. Right? So yeah, it's hard to be ethical, okay? And why else are we doing this, right? And why else even go to school, right? So you're not going to school to change the world, man. So basically, I might sound too controversial. I'm sorry about that, but let's be real here, all right? Sorry, Dr. Chan. So, but yeah. So if it's too controversial, let me know. Okay. All right. So why do we want profits, right? We hear a lot of stuff about profits in media and all kinds of negative stuff, but I don't know. I don't find it negative. With profits, we can guarantee that we all have a wide safety net. It's really important. We have meaningful pay and benefits. We actually pay quite a bit for everybody, even the lowest in the hierarchy. They all get some kind of benefits, fully covered, everything like that. We all look at long-term growth. Yeah, tech coffers, talking to a lot of you right now. I don't know, is it a common trend right now for some reason? It's like in tech, a lot of people just hop around and try to like, every 2 years they start hopping and like for an additional $3,000 additional salary, you hop and it's like, come on guys. So those are the kind of trends I've been looking at, and I don't deal with that. So my filtering is insane. We don't look for people like that at all. So that's how we structure it. We also don't need to listen to external shareholders. It's really important. Basically, if we partner in South Korea, 10 by 10, they're owned by GS. So I'm not sure if you heard of GS. Yeah, Gold Star, yeah. That's like a monopoly in Korea. And man, their team is struggling because they gotta deal with monopolies. So we don't want to do that. So that's why we run profits. We run self-sustainable. No reason why they did take the investment, because they needed that lifeline, because they weren't focused on profits. So it sounds okay. It sounds really obvious that we should focus on profits, all right? But you'd be amazed at how many companies don't focus on profits. They only focus on revenue because it looks good, but then at the end of the day, it's revenue minus expenses, right? So if you're freaking negative on profits, you're gonna die. So that's a tech culture, by the way, is how we run things in the technology world. It's not sustainable. I mean, look at Uber, man. They're like burning profits like crazy. I just took an Uber here, by the way. So I don't even know how to sustain all that. So anyway, our shareholders actually just internal. We don't have any shareholders externally. So a lot of employees do own shares, and they're going to. A lot of them will. And we're just inviting our own. And that's how you create a long, sustainable company. The willingness to share is really important. So our objective is pretty simple. We need to increase our shareholder value so that we win for ourselves. I mean, why else are we doing this again, right? We're gonna make some wealth here. And of course, that bleeds right back into our organization. So everybody wins. So it's like a win-win philosophy, basically. So again, profits, we can create more opportunities with our suppliers, our partners, and other promising members of our team. What I realized is that when I started doing this, actually a lot of other companies depend on us. So somehow they put 100% of the risk on us to supply us and things like that. And if I take a misstep, they're all going to shut down too. So I noticed this dependency is actually it's pretty heavy on my shoulders actually every morning. That it's not just my company; I have other companies to worry about too. It's a whole different dynamic. So I wasn't expecting that at all. So those are the kind of things. What matters is not your technology or anything like that. What matters is that it's actually people. And we're talking more about that, right? It's a human factor that we're worried about. When we're in tech, we're all just staring at a freaking screen. We don't look outside a window where people actually matter. So we're talking about that as we go. It's all about the human factor. So MochiThings. It's unbelievable. If you look at MochiThings.com, it's looking like a total joke, man. It's like all we're doing is selling like stationery products. I'm talking about like sticky notes, stickers, stuff you find at Uajimaya, pens, those kind of little gadgets. You wouldn't believe it, man. So if you go to MochiThings.com, you can see what the hell. How have we been doing this? And it's funny because nobody really looks at us as a real big player in the marketplace, which is great. I don't talk about my experiences, so this is actually my first time talking about this. And I've been running this since 2011. So how we started was my wife, who had an entrepreneurship class in UW, and her final project was about how to start a startup by bringing in what you call inventory from Korea. So we're arbitraging. Basically, an arbitrage is basically you bring in a product at a lower price. It's pretty simple, okay? You bring in a product at a lower price, you sell at a higher price. So it's arbitrage. So basically, most businesses are operating like that. And we started arbitraging in 2011. So we bought our own first inventories in 2011, and we've been hitting ever since. So that model never changed. We just became more and more faster and more efficient at arbitraging. And I'm gonna ask you a question. How much you guys think total revenues are? Like, I'm really curious if anybody have a domain knowledge right here. Like,
Is it accumulative?
yeah, since 2011. I'm really curious if anybody had like this knowledge. Yes.
Question.
Sure.
How much value of the assets did you start with?
Oh, it's only $3,000. Yeah.
I would be guessing like the 10 million to 50 million.
How come?
What is the average price?
Average price? It can go up to, so some items can be $5, some items can go up. So average probably 50, 60 something. So 45 million? 1 to 5? That's way too low, man.
Yeah, because it's since 2011.
Yeah, I'm really curious how you guys think, because do we have any ML people in here? I'm curious. Anybody focus on machine learning?
No.
No. Oh man.
I know the exponential function.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hockey stick.
I know you started with the first one, 0 to 1.
Yeah.
And move down to the bottom.
Yeah, we're very close to the bottom. Okay. So sure.
So for this, what you see, what you look at?
Yeah, so that's our adtech algorithms. So I can talk about that. It wasn't planned for this talk, but since you guys are curious, basically we're really good at buying traffic. And when we buy traffic, we go for all the advertisers or publishers like Google. You guys all hear about it, Facebook and things like that. That's another freaking game. Basically how it works is just like inventory. You buy 1,000 clicks. What's the conversion of that, right? So that's another ML kind of algorithm. And we're just buying eyeballs. So it's so weird that a pattern of ad tech, there's a pattern. It's guaranteed to convert at some number. Yeah, it's guaranteed. Every day our revenue is so stable if you don't do anything. Like, you expect the behavior to kind of change, right? But it doesn't. Every single day, you just keep the same constant variables. Like, there are a couple of variables that we have in a metric. You keep it constant, revenue just comes straight in. You don't do anything. So, for us, we have to put on growth. And how to reach the very last number is pretty simple, actually. You just keep those metrics constant and increase when you can, if your operation can sustain it. Our biggest mistake is that when we increase these things, our operation cannot sustain it. So then we lose money for bringing in extra revenue. So that's when we talk about technology and how that helps us from solving that problem. So it's not hard to make money. It's more about
Keeping money.
No, it's not about keeping money. It's more about how to approach the problem. The money just comes anyway, man. So it's more about solving computer science problems, actually. And it's really fun. Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm still confused. So you're talking about you have an algorithm or something, help you to deploy which side or where you want to show your advertising on the website.
Yeah, so the algorithm.
You repeat his question. His voice is
Oh yeah, so
repeat his question.
yeah, so Kevin is asking if you want to say.
Yeah. So my question is whether they have an algorithm, whether they have an algorithm or some software to help them decide where they can deploy their advertising, so they can get that very high,
Yeah.
I don't know how to say no.
Conversion.
Converted.
Yeah.
Because I also, doing the advertising in Taobao platform in
Yeah.
China, but the conversion rate probably lower than 2%. That's probably the average.
Yeah, 2% is actually really good.
Yeah.
So how we decide where to deploy is really simple. You don't just look at conversion rates, you look at the final profit percentage of the entire picture. Just calculating it, the entire flow is really hard. Basically, how we decide is the final number. What's the profit percentage after all expenses taken? Let's say Pinterest, the conversion rates are extremely high. The bids are so expensive, right? Then we start thinking about, okay, is the bid at like $5 per click worth it? Then wow, you start doing the average and things like that. You start calculating all the finances. Then wow, it's actually worth it. We can actually go a bit higher. So that's how we decide. If you just calculate the whole picture, is really hard, man. Because all the operational costs into that. Every advertiser got different behavioral aspects to it. Like for Pinterest, customers tend to buy a lot more compared to like a Facebook user or Instagram user. It's all different. So depending on the audience, they buy a whole different set of things that bring a whole different set of challenges into our operations. So I don't know how Taobao is. I wish I can try it, But yeah, I hope that answers the question. You just look at the profit percentage. All right, so basically our success was from my wife's understanding of selection. If you look at sticky notes yourself and stickers and pens, you probably don't even care about it, man. Like, who cares, right? I don't care, actually. I never used any of my products, actually. So I still don't know why I would want something like that. So, but that's why my wife is pretty good at what she does. Her selection is just crazy. She knows what people want. And that adds on to our deployments of ads. She knows exactly what they want. And then once you have that, your conversion rates go up and increase exponentially. All right. So even if you don't understand selection, that's fine. You brute force it. All right. You can use the computer science knowledge. If you cannot skip or take a shortcut, you brute force the selection. And that works too. You do a greedy algorithm on it. But if you have my wife's ability, then you don't have to brute force it. Save a lot of money, man. So if you can avoid brute forcing, that's pretty good. Brute force is not bad. Okay, don't listen to your algorithms professor saying that the brute force is really bad way of doing things. Sometimes you just gotta brute force it, right? It's really good. Start with something, it's better than nothing, right? All right. So it's also because of my understanding of consumer mind works. I got a lot of psychology background that I got from industry, and I kind of know what ticks in people's mind, and I use that in our ad deployments. Right, different things you can do, say, and things like that. And I'm really good at economics. I wish I can have more time to talk about economics. It's a really fun field. It explains how we all think. All right. After you know this, that's when we scale the tech. And scaling the tech is dangerous because our operations cannot sustain it. All right. So we are having operational issues right now because I scale too hard. All right. Now we got to scale back down. So anyway, don't ever start tech first because, we're engineers. We want to start tech first. It's pretty cool. But in reality, man, you need to talk to the customer first. Once you have a problem, you just try to solve it manually. All right. you solve a manual process, then you try to find a repeatable customer, then you put the tech in. Tech is only the result of painful real-world research and development. A lot of our research is in the real world. We're not stuck in the office most of the time. We're actually doing stuff where we need to inspect the process, inspect what people are doing. You gotta get feedback, all those things, the best practices, we had to follow that. Basically, tech should not add more pain to that. Like your serverless pipelines, it's just painful. I don't want to do that, after a long day outside, gotta come home and look at your serverless crap. No thanks. So those are things I'm talking about. You gotta keep your tech as simple as possible. It changes all the freaking time. Basically, our specs changes depending on like market conditions, supply chain effects, logistics problems, and of course the legal requirements are really heavy. It impacts us greatly. So those are the things to worry about. And tech is never the king. That's the ego I see in tech people. We're not that useful actually. Finance is the king. Without the profits, the tech can never get built. So those are things I'm preaching right now. So okay, this is my top tech. All right, we're a tech audience. But somehow I started UX first. I hope you guys consider this as tech because the user experience is really important. You can build all the tech you want, but nobody uses it, then what's the point? So the UX is really important. We look at UX very differently. Anybody have UX training in here?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So I can kind of corrupt your minds right now. We think in terms of emotions, and there are certain things we target to trigger enough emotion for a purchase decision. So it's like we're playing the mind, all right? So I'm not talking too much about emotions right now because I don't want you guys playing people's minds. It needs to be ethical, okay? So basically, it's my specialty area, and I really try to understand it, how people think and react and things like that. And I basically our core audience is pretty much 100% female, right, in all of our companies. So even our partners and everybody, they're mostly female. I guess I got lucky here, but anyway. It's my special area because I've been exposed to ladies' mind behavior and other, really important factors. 90% of our organization is female. Okay, like this is so skewed right here, man. Everybody's almost male here, right? 90% male here, I guess. So we are 90% female in our organization. Everybody, all right. This wasn't done on purpose. There's no special bias or a natural skew here. We just see that ladies consistently outperform. Raw skill, resilience, including areas like strategy, operations, everything. One of the biggest problems I see in ladies is that they feel so uncertain about the skill sets, but they're actually really good. So as part of like the leadership kind of management things that we do is to reduce that uncertainty. It's really important. And we've been really good at fixing things like this. Even though they're so qualified, they still feel uncertain compared to a guy. They shouldn't be, right? So we're doing something a bit different. We're somehow able to pull out the skills of a really good, lady engineer, let's say. They're hard to find, actually. So tech bros, resolve us right here. You gotta watch out, all right? So seriously, you guys gotta watch out. Yeah, my wife plays a huge role in robot ops, and she just runs all my operations. That's why I'm talking to her today. So without her, I actually can't even come out here. So she does a lot more hard work than I do. So I'm actually a joke compared to her. So she was actually one of Dr. Shang's students too. I kind of ended her career a little early by marrying her. So, oops. So, my bad. So, yeah, I didn't even ask Dr. Shang what he thought about that. So, so anyway, our target audience is actually independent women in their late 20s and 30s. This group of ladies is very dangerous. They're actually independent. It's a whole different game now, all right? So 10 years ago, we didn't really have this group of ladies. 10 years now, which is today, they're damn good, all right? So we're targeting these ladies, and they make over 100K in just cross income alone. They're really good at what they do. And those are our target audience, and we sell quite a bit of stuff. That's how we're so successful today. So what's even more interesting is that in our data science, we found out that somehow we are really popular in the less liberal rural areas, which is incredibly interesting. I'm not sure if you guys follow the politics here in the US, but when we saw that connection, I thought we were more of a liberal company. But somehow we got a connection to the rural area. It's so amazing. So I feel like we can do a lot of work in spreading our liberal messages to these households. And we are really trying to ramp this up for the election, all right? So it's really interesting. So we have this connection to do some pretty big impacts here. So those are the kind of problems we're talking about, not the tech issues. All right, so the UI. If you look at MochiThings.com, our UI is pretty crappy, man. It's simple. It doesn't show anything. It's just photos of products. It doesn't do much. And if you actually dig around, we actually have a lot of issues. Your account doesn't work, all right? Your favorites don't work correctly. Your receipt is kind of broken. So it's nothing like Amazon where you get a whole bunch of data, right? So it's actually, we purposely did this, all right, to kind of test the mind. Don't do this at home, all right? Basically, it's a really risky test on the UX and see what is important. That way, we can distribute our budgets out properly. We don't have that much resources to play around with stuff. So, the most important things that you think is important is actually not, as long as your product is good. Usually, people don't have good product. That's why we do all these things. So, if our product is good, we can actually do a shortcut. And we noticed that our core audience, they can actually tolerate a lot of inconvenience. They really don't care, as much as you think we do, all right? So without even, you got to test, man. Basically from this test, we can actually remove all front-end development, just completely. And then we can put everybody on the back-end stuff, all the ML projects, data science, everything. And we just basically reallocated all engineers. Right? So our R&D can go elsewhere so that we can maximize the profits. The front end does not bring us any profit. So that's kind of how we strategically remove the engineering budget in that area, just by doing this testing. We're going to fix it one day. All right, so kind of give you guys a React problem. I'm not sure you guys use React in here. They use it, right? Vue and all that fancy crap. Basically, we're gonna move off of it now because we noticed that they don't actually handle a lot of things that needs to be. Like autocomplete is not working. Like autocomplete, let's say you're trying to buy a product, right? A lot of people got mobile phones now. They use autocomplete. They hit the autocomplete, but the React doesn't register the event. So that's pretty problematic. Each phone shoots in the data a little differently. So why isn't React resolving this? So that's one of the framework problems. Framework's supposed to resolve things like this. So, because of that problem, I had to freaking rewrite everything, man. This is just they're using the refs to bind onto the input field just to listen to the changes. You would expect the framework to handle all this. So then this whole thing defeats the purpose of React. All right, so if you guys know React, you kind of know what I mean. It's just basically rebinding all the events. So that's just another tech problem that I brought in. It's kind of minor, but it's super annoying because when you guys are talking about security, right? Basically, it's not a security problem here. It's more like you're missing a whole chunk of data. Like, how can I ship you an order if your shipping address is missing? Right? So we had like 1,000 orders of freaking shipping address. When we deployed this, we're like, where's this coming from? It's actually iOS on Chrome that doesn't send the event correctly. So it's actually a Chrome problem, but React didn't pick up on it. How is that possible, right? So What the heck is Facebook doing, right? Anyway. I know, right?
They don't like
Chrome. Yeah, something happened, right? In politics. God. So our backend, it's pretty simple. We use Rails to maintain the relational data. Serverless deployed to AWS. We're just basically getting ready for massive data parsing ML. We needed the following AWS service, pretty fancy stuff. DynamoDB is pretty cool. They can scale really nicely. It's just a key value store. Somehow they got really great sharding going on. And we use it for triggers. I'm not sure you guys touched that yet, but it's pretty simple. It just hits the Lambda function, and we use it for IoT workflows, things like that. Pretty cool. So you don't need to create your own SNS queue and things like that, notification subscribe and things like that. Kinesis, I don't think you guys would use this in academia. You only use this when you really need to scale out your inputs. You cannot believe how insane the inputs are in adtech. Like, you can talk about millions of impressions coming in. You got to track all that, right? And so we need Kinesis for that. SageMaker is pretty cool. We just started doing this. You need training sets and things like that, validation data. So we're trying to create a model to kind of do the adtech problem we're talking about. How do you make that decision? Where do you do that placement with this current budget, right? So we run that for SageMaker, and we're trying that out. Fargate is pretty cool. I'm not sure you guys know Fargate is new. Basically, it's a fancy Docker. You push up your Docker image. Yeah, you can push up your Docker image, create a service, a cluster, whatever. It knows how to manage it itself. Really, really cool stuff. And we'll talk a lot about that later. Neptune, that's for graph modeling. We have a lot of really cool problems to solve in this. Neptune is more like you create your graph database on there. You can do a lot of graph algorithms and you traverse it. Pretty cool stuff. We can solve related products problems, things like that. So that's what that is. Basically, lots of fancy stuff. But what's most important is that we're solving problems for profit. Otherwise, we're not solving it. All right, it just doesn't make any sense if there's no profit in it. All right, so this is Fargate, I guess. We didn't deploy this. Basically, we got this lame problem where you would think that every company has an API that you can talk to, but we work with about 350 suppliers in Korea. Korea tech scene is not really that great. They give you a lot of JavaScript-based crap, ActiveX and all that junk. It's a pain to navigate in Korea. They always prefer a phone call or some kind of email. It's yo, you guys got this sticky note? I did one sticky note, right? And it's hey, I need 5 more of this. You got to do it by phone. Come on. So we were trying to do this problem for 10 years now. We finally resolved it. No more calls. We literally send a Chrome headless browser to go to the freaking thing and order it automatically. So that's what we're doing now to 350 suppliers. And we recently just deployed this where each task contains 5 browsers. Go ahead.
We use highlight Chrome to order a product on their website.
Yeah.
If they change the UI, what's going to do? They have to change their code again?
Yeah, we have to change our code.
Oh, okay.
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, so what Kevin asked is that if the supplier changes the UI, does that mean we need to change our code? Yeah, man, we do. It's a pain in the butt. But fortunately, again, people don't change their stuff. So we have some window of time to actually do the updates and that. But yeah, we do need a maintenance engineer on that. If they change it, yeah, we're kind of screwed. All right, so then we got to make that call again, which is okay. You spend one day make that call, it's better than every day making the call, right? So again, we can't make it perfect. Unfortunately, the world is not perfect. We just got to deal with the BS as best as we can. So that's how that works. Basically, what happens is that once we deploy this, we can actually eliminate the whole purchasing team. All right, that's a lot of salaries reduced. Purchasing team is literally the people who freaking calls up all the suppliers and say, you guys got this, you guys got that, and they coordinate the ground all that stuff. And that just saved that basically removed 20 people or something. We're not removing them, they're gonna be retraining, right? So we don't need to handle that crap anymore. So that's what this is doing. We run a cluster of this, and we're maximizing the entire cluster so we don't waste money on it. So that's what you guys are seeing here. It's basically Chrome doing its stuff. You see extreme spikes when it goes and does stuff. And then Chrome sucks, then we have memory leak. So what we do is just crash the whole cluster, fine, and then bring it back up a few seconds later. So that's what Fargate does to handle that cycling for you, which is really cool. So that's what that does. So we use Fargate to manage the cluster. And be careful auto scale. It's not actually auto scale, man. If you depend on that, you're kind of screwed because it takes time to boot up the task. It takes about, I think, 5 minutes here. Actually, that's too exaggerated, maybe a minute.
Use Docker, that's long. Even though you use Docker, it's still that long.
Yeah, even though you use Docker. Yeah, so there's something going on with AWS trying to reboot the task. They got to drain the task and they got to increase it. So during that draining, if you do auto scale, they probably don't account for the draining. So you got to be a little careful when you adjust your auto scale policy. You might be starting way more than you want to. Then it's you actually waste a lot of money. I mean, imagine 2,000 tasks. This thing costs money, man. So that's what we're doing. We really push it to the limit here. And this is like an engineering problem. How do you reduce the spikes? How do you prolong the memory? There's basically a memory leak. So to give you guys some answers here, we use dumb init. So you put that in front of your Docker. It knows how to handle that memory leak. It's still not the best, but it's good enough. So that's why real world, good enough is pretty good actually. All right, don't go for perfect. So let's talk about problems. How much time do I have? Oh my God. Oh man. I only have 10 minutes. So basically we have 4 pretty interesting problems in our, it's very interesting, but it's not huge problems compared to other things. So we have this thing called inventory problem, logistics problem, scheduling problem, and fulfillment problem. And then we have hundreds of other problems related to other areas of the company, like marketing, advertising, finance, ops. But they all have 2 core areas, data science and machine learning. They're really important. As our data gets bigger and bigger, you try to make a select on a huge relational database. Have fun with that, right? Usually you're not scaling, right? So if you can offload a lot of that stuff for later reporting purposes, you can offload that, all right? But data science and ML is not enough. That you can have these kind of skills to do things, but you still need your domain knowledge, like finance and economics. You need a field somewhere else, right? Tech itself is not enough. I can't be teaching you guys finance and economics, right? It takes years of experience to learn those things. So if somebody comes in with other domain knowledge, that's really good. Right? I don't have to waste time. So I don't have 30 minutes actually. So on a 10 minutes, talk about 10 minutes of major work, right? So inventory problem, I have 50,000 SKUs. That's literally 50,000 unique products laying in front of you. At least 350 suppliers. And I don't have any formal contracts to guarantee that stock. So people, you make a call, it's hey, you guys got that pen? No? All right, so what do you do, right? So that's the kind of thing. I just don't have the time to go over the legality of that. So, what do we stock up on, right? Not everything's always in stock. We have constant status changes of 50,000 products. Some days we might have half of the whole SKU just gone. Right? So how do you allocate with that spike? At the same time, we have a space limitation. There's a cost to store inventory. We have big warehouses. You could be losing a lot of money on rent and insurance, things like that. So that's the space limitation. We have time limitation. Too many SKUs means too many search operations. All right, we got to think algorithms here. We're doing a search operation to find stuff in the warehouse. So it's another algorithm problem. So the logistics problem is how do you move inventory in a warehouse? Right? You have 350 suppliers from Seoul. We're gonna move it all to Seattle. And then after that, we're gonna move it all to worldwide, which should quite a bit. There's We got like 5 USPS pickups a day. We've got a whole lot of stuff going on. We got to consider air freight, ocean freight, land freight. And then again, we have a space optimization problem. We got to reduce transportation costs by maximizing the number of boxes, like products in the box. How do you do that, right? So that's like a best fit algorithm problem. So it's actually all algorithm and data science problems here. Then we have time optimization. When should we even push it out? Sometimes you have like act of God problems, like the weather, like our snowstorm. Dang, that removed 3 days from our operations. So we are like 3 days backed up. So those are the things we're talking about. Fuel costs, labor scheduling, how do you get everybody into the warehouse, 50 people? I mean, you got 3 days of snowstorm, right? 3 days without work. Where did they go, right? So those are things we're kind of dealing with. Right, scheduling problem is really hard. Basically, which customers should we ship out to? If you think about it, you have like 10,000 customers to ship to, right? And what do we do? How do we do 10,000 orders in a freaking day with 50 people? We all got to complete everything in 8 hours. And that's the scheduling problem. How do you sort all those orders to be packed fastest? So we're tracking all these things. Then we have the time optimization problem. What are the quickest orders to fulfill and push out greatest numbers a day? And then how do we sort those orders who's waiting for inventory before it's packed up? So those are the problems we're talking about. Then we have space optimization problem again. How do we clear up the inventory to optimize search and sort operations? And everything's moving. So while we're doing this, we're actually thinking about should we put all of our labor in parallel? Should they all do different things at once, or should we throw them all the same problem? So those are decisions to make. And it kind of affects our labor costs too. And then, again, inventory may get delayed due to weather or some kind of legal thing. Or, employees just have a bad day. We got to account for those things. So those are our problems. The fulfillment problem is like, hey, pack and ship, you all think it's easy. If you guys think it's easy, man, come to our house. You guys try it. It's actually super hard, man. So your job is basically, search warehouse for items. You unpack the inventory, you pack stuff up, get it ready for USPS. And really, all the problems I'm explaining here is basically your basic algorithms problem. It's search and sort operations. So all the algorithms that went through, I think we're all masters here, right? So basically, all the damn algorithms we went through, all the pain that you guys went through, you guys better remember those, all right? Don't forget it, man. If you get like a 2.0 on that, man, study, okay? Get your big O, learn that stuff again, all right? So your data structures algorithms are so important here. Oh. Yeah, it's super important, man. So if you know the algorithms, man, you're so ahead. It's not the tech here, okay? You got to be able to like compute it by hand, things like that. All right, so it's really, we're just solving time and space complexity all the freaking time. That's what we do. And I deduce basically the whole company teaches algorithm problem. And we've got some pretty cool algorithms, right? So basically we use IoT for communications, quality control, and measure team efficiency. So each scan that people do, we track in a time series database. We analyze those time series and kind of like look at what's done and what's not, things like that. So we use IoT for that. Unfortunately, I don't have time to go through that today, but we use Raspberry Pi, we hook it up on every workstation, things like that, and then we just let them work on it. So, oops. So solutions, I can't tell you guys my solutions, right? I wish I can, but I can build one with you guys, but I can't tell you what we got because it's proprietary. Each algorithm is actually wrapped around API, and we sell that. All right, so I just came. We got some pretty creative ways to do things, and you guys send us your inputs. You guys pay for that access. Then we charge on that, and some people do want the best fit algorithm, things like that.
What kind of algorithm you're talking about?
Like anything, like best fit, or how you get the shortest route in your warehouse. Like you can kind of know where you place the item, right? Then how can you coordinate the shortest route? How do you know where they're walking? So we're optimizing employee time. So those are things we're selling. So those are algorithms. to store data? The DynamoDB. Yeah, it's fast. So if you throw, good. Yeah, there's no SQL on it. Yeah, because so then you gotta hit the Lambda trigger, then you store that in SQL. Yeah, you need to do something to it. Like for storing data? I actually can't answer that because I'm not involved in that. But to tell you the truth, we just hit a write on big O1 to DynamoDB, and then at the end of the day, we gathered that.
So I guess it's like
Yeah, we always go big O1 no matter what. It doesn't make sense to anything else. So at the end of the day, we gather all that and we bash it, and then we load that to relational or graph, whatever we want to analyze on. Yeah, always. That's like the best solution, right? So I can't really answer the detail because I'm not involved in that, but I'm gonna enforce big O1 always. So I'm running out of time, so I gotta rush this through. So that's what the solutioning is. And basically this is a flow. Is it okay if I go a little?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay, sorry guys. So basically it's kind of like, this is the flow, all right? 100K customers, they purchase, right? You get a receipt, and then this goes into Rails for this part, not the DynamoDB stuff, right? This one goes straight into Rails, and then it asks a question, all right? Do we have all this in stock? If it does, it forwards to the warehouse. And then we got 50 employees here doing all this operation. And then that's like the magic case, right? It's never this good, right? This is like the best case scenario. So if we don't have it in stock, oh shoot, we gotta ask our creative team. And then they gotta do their fancy stuff. And it's like, hey guys, to finish suppliers, you guys got this pen? You know, even it's one pen, right? And what happens is that they do a quick service. So what quick service in Korea is that, you know, those mopeds that they ride through the street, we're freaking using tons of mopeds to get stuff into our warehouse, right? They have until 4 p.m. to consolidate our shipments and then get it to the air or ocean, whatever the timeline is, for next day 10 a.m. So we got this like time window that we're gonna hit to do our operations. If you miss that flight, you screw up the whole schedule. So that's how all this stuff works. So if it's a snow day, it's pretty painful. And then if it all goes well, we ship everything. It usually goes well. Otherwise, we're not here today. But if it doesn't, then yeah, that's the bad scenario. So I wish I can talk a little bit more about this flow, but that's kind of like that. But I just want to end it with that people matter. Don't forget the humans when we're doing our work, please. When we do our work, we keep thinking about math, you know, algorithms. We totally forget about people, and that makes us a little less social conscious. Like we don't even know that we're harming the world, kind of scenarios. We just gotta be mindful, okay? Like, you know, please learn to utilize politics correctly. All right, relationships do matter. To be honest, if Dr. Chen didn't ask me, I would not be here. So those are relationships I'm talking about. So use those correctly. You gotta build it. It takes time, a lot of effort, and you know, we're all in this together. Things like that. Sounds simple, but it's not. All right, it takes 10 years of building, and that's what we're doing. You know, we're on this together. So I don't know if we have time, so please feel free to ask me anything. Okay, sorry guys.
First of all, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, now it's your time. 5 minutes ago. But we have to invite somebody else.
Sure.
That's a question. I'll do the first question. Where did you find those great engineers that you have, and how do you attract them to your company?
So
And how do you find them?
So great engineers. I actually only have one engineer.
Oh, really?
It's a lady. She's so good. Maybe I'll bring her around when she's ready. But how I found her was she was in a fulfillment team. She was working on pick, pack, and ship, okay? She was a sophomore at UW. She needed money to continue education. And somehow I needed help. And my wife was like, hey, I got this troublemaker. And she doesn't want her on her team. So she gave her to me. And that's how I scouted her. So once she started with me, how she convinced me was the bidding problem on the adtech. She basically pointed out an error in my bids. That pointing out saved me quite a bit of money. Right? So from then, I started to actually sponsor education. So her whole tuition, I think I pretty much sponsored it. So I think she still has some student loans left. But that's how we started. Today, she's learning all the finance works, all the economics, all the marketing. Basically, the best way for me to scout is somehow join in a team, and then I pick. That's how I do it. But it's not like I have a way for like straight in coming to me. Those things kind of like the typical engineers I'm talking about are kind of like in South Korea. They're freaking cheap. They can do everything better than the US can. Like you talk about serverless, they know it. I mean, the labor supply there is insane. So sorry, guys, I'm a globalized person. I go where it's cheapest and the most effective. So I guess for US to stand out more, data instructions and algorithm, please. All right. So that's kind of, I hope I answered that question. Yeah. The best engineers, like what I call CRUD engineers, to create, update, delete engineers, they're the best in Korea. But the ones who can think in algorithm data structures is here. We just gotta have more domain knowledge. So it's really hard. Like basically everybody got picked up by AWS already. So yeah, that's what we gotta do.
Thanks. Last questions? Questions? Kevin, have more questions? Oh, okay. Sam?
Yes, I know. So you are talking about your current one, but because all business up and down, what was your most dangerous or difficult time in your life? How did you survive?
Oh my God. It's actually painful, man. So there's some politics involved. 2 years ago, it was one of our key members, operations manager. She just decided to start some shit up. Right? So sorry my language, but she basically took out half my team. Right? So we lost half of our revenue because of that. And that kind of made me want to like just shut down the whole MochiThings. Because politics, you actually know her. Yeah. So yeah, you actually know her. So that was my most difficult time. Because people did not play politics correctly. If they want something, if you guys want something, you straight up tell the superior. If you want more pay, there's negotiations. All right? If you guys don't tell me, or say have an employee, I won't know. I'm not a mind reader, right? So in why I emphasize the politics is that again, any problems you guys have with superiors, let them know, man. If people don't know, how can we resolve it, right? So this problem kind of got built out. If she was any smarter, she could have unionized my place. We don't want a union. So basically I had to fire. That was a hard fire. So all the trust and everything with that. And luckily I did not give the shares out for that case. It would have been kind of headache. So that was mostly what how I went through it was that, the engineer that I brought in, she actually somehow supported me through that and kept me going. As to why I did this in the first place, I could have forgot about it. But I could have just literally just turned off the company, even though it's such a great, sustainable one. Yeah, those are the moments I'm talking about. I don't think any of you feel it yet, You will, all right, one day. Hopefully not the scale, all right. It just basically it kind of makes you question, why am I even doing all this? We're trying to go for win-win solutions. Why you guys stab me in the back? So she wasn't paid that low, man. Our pay is pretty high, so I just cannot find a reason. I still can't to understand what happened here. And we actually have a lot of issues like ghosting. It's pretty common now. I'm not sure you guys have ghosting.
In relationships?
Yeah, like that. Man, ghosting in the workplace is annoying. Like, if you have 50 people on your fulfillment team, 10 of them ghost on the same day, dude, you out 10 people. All your efficiency, everything gets affected. So these are like the new things I'm seeing. It's so weird, man. So again, that's why I put time for the politics. If you guys can, please think about it. It does matter. It haunts you if you do it wrong. So, like I said, don't think I should know her. So, it will haunt you, and I will make sure it continues to haunt her. That's the idea, right? You cannot let another person like me suffer for the same thing. So it's fully justified to talk about it. It's important to name names. All right? If I do something wrong, then I expect people to name my name, right? It all goes around, comes around. So I hope that kind of puts this idea in your minds.
So just a follow-up. So how do you kind of prevent that from happening?
Yeah.
Like what policy can you implement on the organization so you could have more open communication?
Yeah, exactly. So I started doing the feedback process now.
Okay.
And I started just asking people things. Every once in a while, you do need to talk to people, even though it's kind of hard. Every 15 minutes, you just find a new person to talk to. Just say hi, simple things. And you just show that they care.
So let me have a last question. Now go back to the 15 years ago.
We met 2007.
Okay, 2007. Now you go back to the 2007. Now students are here. What do you want to give your last comment to my student?
Oh yeah. Please focus on your
data
structure. And discrete structures, the logic is really important. Yeah. So please focus on that. And please, this is actually a really good mentor. I'm not even kidding. I'm not like sucking up or anything. Basically, Dr. Chang kind of showed me a philosophy that I should follow. So I'm not sure you guys know about it, but he has this thing where he always like, man, he's pretty aggressive in like this thing, but it's all about win-win. All right, you help me, I help you, that kind of thing. It goes a long way. I see a lot of his students just leave, man, after they're done. I mean, that's not win-win, right? You gotta come back. I mean, even here, coming back today, it was kind of surprising because he recently just came back from Chicago. What the heck, right? So when I got a call from him, I was like, yeah, I'm coming. Yeah, so that's kind of how this works. The politics is really important. You just don't know. I mean, when you need somebody really urgently, they just appear if you do it right. So those are things to know about. It's way more than tech, right? So.
Thank you.
Yeah, do you have a question?
No.
There you go. Yes. Okay. You said that we small. Token.
We have a small token of it for you.
Oh, really?
From now on, whenever you drink the tea,
Oh, thanks, guys.
You can order this in CDU and post it in MochiThings.
All right. Thank you so much, man.
yeah,
Wow, thank you.
yes. Why don't you give a big education?
Thanks, guys.
Oh.